Hey girl, hey, it's IFBB Pro Emily Smith
NPC competitor Jaden Casa, and welcome back to the Wellness Girlie Gang
podcast, season 2.
Hey girl, hey, we are back on the Wellness Girlie Gang podcast, and today we have a very special guest. Miss Georgia Daniels is with us. She is a coach and NPC competitor in bikini and has done a lot this year with building her brand from the ground up. And we are so excited to have her on. So Georgia, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I would love to, get a sense of how you got into bodybuilding and how you found yourself in this world.
Absolutely. Kind of thrown in it when a lot of other people were in COVID. I had hired a bodybuilding coach in college just to learn nutrition. Like I felt like I knew training. Meaning I had bought in PDF programs by all the people online. You know what I mean? Training but I knew nothing about macro tracking. I knew nothing about nutrition. And I was following like a pro figure athlete at the time. And obviously she knew nutrition tracking and all of that. So hired her and she just told me like, I think you'd do well in bodybuilding. And I said, yes, ma'am, sounds good. But having somebody else like believe that I could do something of a higher caliber and higher level was so like honoring to me. And I said, okay, sounds good. And that's how it all started. And I haven't looked back for sure.
That's awesome. I mean, now I feel like you've definitely transitioned this year alone just because, I've known you since my heydays in Virginia, but I feel like you've really made the pivot to coaching and putting a lot of time, energy, and effort into your athletes. I think that, for our audience and stuff like that, I would love to hear a little bit more about that transition and kind of what inspired that.
Absolutely. I mean, I could talk about it forever, but my original coach, when I was in college, I did multiple shows in school and I ended up doing my national certification under her like suggestion. She was like, I think you would be a great coach. And when I was in my last semester of college, I was so lost. I literally had no idea what I was going to do. I was talking to Parsa, and at that time, I didn't really have a social media presence either. I was posting for fun, like it was just silly goofies, right? And she helped me pay for my NASM certification and was saying that I would be a good online coach. At the time, I was balancing like in-person personal training, working at the YMCA front desk. I also worked at a supplement store. So a lot of like balancing things to just like afford bodybuilding, right? And she was like, I think that you should be a coach. And she kind of mentored me to be a lifestyle coach. Now, I said, sounds good. I was delusionally optimistic. And I think that was for my positive. If I was this age trying to get into bodybuilding coaching, I think I would have so much more things like holding me back. Like I would think, because you see how much many more people do this, right? So many people do this. And I guess I didn't know much about the industry, right? So I was like, oh, sound good. So I graduated school fully, just full-time bodybuilding. Like I just was like, I'm going to finish my bodybuilding prep. I prepped from May to July. Once I finished my show, then I announced I was coaching. And I just was like, it's going to work out. And it did. Full
Mhm.
send. It worked out. But at the time, I never thought I was gonna prep people, don't get me wrong. I always thought I'd do online, like, lifestyle coaching, and I remember putting my applications live, and I even think back now, and I'm like, "Whoa, that was so like, such a God timing and blessing," because it was just like, I think I had this is absolutely insane, but I had 12 to, like, 15 consult calls a day for 2
Wow.
months, like and that's a lot, like, of time, right? And they were, like, 45-minute calls, so I remember having hundreds and hundreds of applications, and I was like I gasped because I felt like I knew so little.
Mhm.
Of course, I knew more than like the average person that I'd been coaching for. I mean, in-person coaching for a while, but I remember seeing that and being like, what? Like people want me to do that? Actually it was, I quote said this, I was never thought I would be knowledgeable enough to prep people. Like I never thought I would get there. Right. So obviously lifestyle coached online for like a year. I was full time doing that. Never thought I would competition coach. The longer I was in it and the more I learned, I realized that it's not that you can't be that smart. It's like how much work will you put in to be that person? And I felt like that there was just a gap. And every coach I had and just like the communication style that I wish I was receiving as like a college student in school, full-time working, trying to balance all the things. And I was like, I definitely understood living in the sorority house and balancing bodybuilding prep. Like I have a lot of, we'll get into all that later. And I had a mentor at the time that believed that I would be able to switch into bodybuilding coaching and pretty much that's where it started. Was I am where I am because of other people's confidence in what I could achieve. I feel like building my confidence took a lot of time, and thank goodness, like the right people were placed in my life. Over time, I've gotten better and better. Obviously, I've been doing this for 4, 5, 6 years now, so that's insane. And over the years, I just got more confident, learned more, did more education, and that's how it's like gotten to here. Obviously, that's all since like 2020. That's kind of like a fast wind up, but that's kind of how I got into coaching.
Yeah.
Goes a lot more in depth than that, but
No, I mean, what you said though is important. Like how much time and energy you put into something, be it coaching, be it your prep, like that's the outcome that you get, right? Like, just like, for example, a prep, like Jaden's in it right now. The more that she pours into this prep, the higher that the placing that she's going to get, guaranteed, right?
Mhm.
Like posing, your nutrition, your diet, because you're that girl that's outworking whoever else is going to show up on stage. Right,
absolutely.
and we always plan for that girl. We always plan for that girl, but we always plan to be that girl
Right.
too. Yeah, so
Yeah,
the same thing goes with coaching. Like the more you put into it, you wake up in the morning, you dive into those check-ins, like you go into the next thing that you have to do that's going to help like market you as a coach. So, Georgia, let's kind of dive into like your day-to-day lifestyle. Like I know you're on YouTube, like I know you're just very transparent of who you are and what you're doing, but kind of tell the girlies listening, what's a day in the day life of Georgia, the coach, the athlete, because you're still an athlete.
absolutely. So I feel like there's ebbs and flows on how much energy we can give to certain parts of our life. And I think that I've kind of gotten to a point where like influencing is like not my goal, obviously. So I kind of got to a place that I just post what I like. So when I'm enjoying posting on YouTube, what I enjoy posting on TikTok, what I enjoy posting on Instagram is kind of just what I do. So I don't consider that in my like day to day schedule. I just kind of I post. But when it comes to coaching and just athlete, I love that, of course, I have a coach that is telling me what to do, of course, because it takes a lot of that guesswork out. So I have my normal training schedule, my normal meals, and I've been doing it long enough that it just feels like another day there. And then, I mean, when it comes to a coach, I think in my head that I like have a 9 to 5, basically. I will do my cardio in the morning, eat my meal, and then I just sit down at like 8 a.m. and I just start working. And whenever I'm done is when I go to the gym. Obviously, when I'm in a competition prep, I feel like I would have let myself to like time block in training in the middle of the day. But I think the one positive about not competing this year, and that's why I wasn't going to compete this year, was being able to put so much passion into my love and my time into building like my baby, my brand. And so for me, that means that being an athlete is on the back burner. So that means me training at like 10 p.m. right now, right?
Yeah.
But I love it. I'm falling in love with like the night training. So normally I would say I'm working like, it's normally like 8 to 7 is when I'm like actually doing all of my stuff. Usually the morning is starting with like my clients that are prep clients. If I have consult calls, those are like middle of the day to break up my like other lifestyle and off season check-ins.
Mhm.
It's like a normal flow like that. I just kind of go through all of my check-ins throughout the day. I have consult calls usually like Monday to Friday, and then clients start like Saturday and Monday. I mean, Sunday and Monday. So
Mm.
I usually take the weekends to like write client programming. So every day has its purpose, but I would say I kind of see it as like a 9 to 5 because I'm just, at my computer working.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes total sense. There was a video that I saw. I think you might have posted or one of your clients did on TikTok, and it was you backstage with her, like, touching up her tan and like fixing her oil and stuff like that. And I would love if you could speak a little bit more about your coaching philosophy because I feel like that very much encompasses it. And then I think
Mhm.
that especially in this space, there is a lack of female coaches. There's a lack of female coaches who have that passion and
Mhm.
who are very knowledgeable and put a lot into their athletes and who understand females and female hormones and things like that of all that nature. So I would love for you to talk a little bit more about your philosophy and kind of what goes into your prep clients as well as your lifestyle clients.
Yeah, I love that. So
Mhm.
definitely that's why I actually only coach women. I don't coach men. I feel like number one, the more we niche towards what we are able to fully learn about, or like the more we niche, the more I'm able to fully educate. And I don't think there's enough people in the
Yes.
industry that know women's hormones and know the complex like lab work and everything it takes. And there's
Mhm.
so many underlying things, and there's a lot more complexities when it comes to women. So I've only been coaching women for sure, and that's what I plan to stick to. That is one thing I've realized is you can't teach passion for sure. And I think at the end of the day, I don't do this for money. I don't do this for like people to know who I am and to like know my name in the industry. I've done this that way people feel supported. And I feel like it is so, so cool to be a part of a people's like someone's journey where most of these people, it's like a bucket list thing. How
Yeah.
freaking cool is it to be such a big hand in something somebody never thought that they would do in their entire life? And it was such a blind step out of their normal routine to hire a coach. Like that's so
Mhm.
powerful. And I have some clients like will send like a transformation photo. It'll be like what we looked like when we first started bodybuilding 2 years ago in our stage photo. And their hair and their everything is completely different. The amount of people that have gotten engaged and married, had kids, like I've seen so much transformation of people's lives because it's
Mhm.
such a monumental short term of people's life. Like it's like we're thinking 2 to 3 years. It's not a lot. We're thinking 2 to 3 years of a phase where people are giving their all into being their best self.
Mhm.
And it's so just like, I'm just very grateful for sure to be a part of people's journeys that way because you look back and you fully know these people. I know a lot, probably know more about these people than their parents and a lot of their friends.
Or
And
their
it's really
spouses,
about that.
significant others.
So you learn about their struggles, you learn about what they love and what they hate. And you know, every time they're traveling, you know, every time there's a fight in their relationship, there's a fight between friends, fight between roommates, you know everything. And it is such like, it's so amazing to be able to be a part of that. So once we get to the show day, my favorite literal day ever, uh, I like to be involved as much as I can. I have relearned makeup so I could do their stage makeup. I've gotten pretty good at like backstage touching up tans. I just like to be able to, number one, make the show day as cheap as it can, right? Because it's already so expensive to be able to pay for hair and makeup, all the things, when I very easily could learn to do it. I don't know. So I like to be able to be of use and make it a little bit more affordable as much as I can, but also make the show day one that they can remember. That's what you think. It's like they did all this work. Me being able to be there in person when I am able, of course, makes them be able to remove that stress of a lot of what the unknown and allowing them to be present. And I hate for them to get through that day and be like, oh man, like I was so anxious because I didn't know what the day was going to hold. And Georgia being there, just holding my hand and telling me, okay, just wait here until they call you. You know what I mean? Those simple
Yeah, yeah.
makes the show day them allowing to be present. They know they're not going to miss anything. They know they're going to be there. So yeah, I think that that's for sure a big part of my philosophy is them feeling communicated with, but also just feeling supported. Because it is something I'm very grateful to be like a part of their journeys for sure.
Yeah. I love that we were backstage with each other last weekend.
That's
I
my
was like,
favorite part about local
yes,
shows. I know like a lot of coaches now. I know a lot of like it's so fun.
our community is so small but so tight now. Like,
Yeah.
and I just love like what Jaden said. Like, there are not that many female coaches in this industry, and also that also support other coaches too. Cause like when I see other female coaches, I'm like, hey girl, like I'm always like, this is so awesome. Especially
Yeah.
I've known Georgia since she started bodybuilding in 2020. Like we literally went to the same,
Or
we literally worked out together. Like, so like watching Georgia grow up essentially, like literally
Yeah.
has been so amazing to see, like, personally, because like, I was a personal trainer and, like, seeing other women become coaches online, like, become entrepreneurs, make money for themselves, make other women feel the way that they've felt, like, we need more of that. Like,
Yeah.
we need more of it. Yeah, it was so good to see you.
it's great to see y'all too. I know it's always so amazing when people are fully supportive backstage, like cheering on for each other's clients,
Yes.
the other people backstage. And that's one thing I've just never fully understood is like, this is not we're not fighting for clients. People
Yeah.
aren't fighting for competition like between each other. The sport is huge.
Yeah.
And once you start to see other people as competition, that's I think when your education stops because we can
Yeah.
so much learn from each other.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Study from a textbook all you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's using it to a person, using their experience, using it to their life, seeing how their body responds. And so the more I've been open and communicating and learning from the other people, and also when people come out, I get people ask me questions,
Mhm.
and ask me to mentor them now. And it's like me fully sharing this education and what I've learned allows us as a community for these female clients to be like successful,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is
we literally had both of our girls in the same class sitting right beside each other. I was like, "Georgia, Tony said we could sit in the front row." So, Georgia's like, "I'm following you."
Sweet.
And we were just cheering while I was videoing my client, she was cheering for my client. While Georgia was videoing her client, I was cheering for Georgia's client. Like they were competition against each other, but still they were both true novice. It was both their first time and they both look fucking fire. Like they both had an amazing time. At least I know for my client, she was like, this was literally the best experience I could ever ask for. So, and I know Georgia gives the same to her girls.
No, I think it's super powerful. And also going back to what you said, Georgia, about, you're not fighting for clients. It's also about fit too.
Yeah.
Some people, works with might not jive with you as well, or vice versa. Or someone, is with you, Georgia, might be like, oh, this is my style. And like, this is what I need. So, I mean, I always encourage people, in my own experience, to talk to a shit ton of different coaches and figure out like what you actually want before you go into that consult call. Because where the both of you are, very like similar in some ways, I can almost guarantee that you do stuff differently. So giving people the
Mhm.
opportunity to find community, try out a bunch of different things, and again, be able to learn from different individuals. The education piece is so huge because I also
Mhm.
find that, and I mean, I know from my experience too, a lot of coaches will treat women like mini open bodybuilders, and you literally cannot do that because you will screw them up in ways that you can't even imagine.
Mhm.
You guys are both competitors. You guys are both, seasoned in this. You've been through the preps. You understand what pitfalls you fall into, so you know how to troubleshoot that for other individuals too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I've felt everything. Every protocol I've given to somebody, I've done worse, so I know how it feels.
Yeah.
Like, we are very empathetic because we're like, "Okay, yeah, I had to do this," and it helps me to communicate. I'm like, "I even if you're not complaining, I know how hard it is, and I know how hard we can push mentally and physically and what's gonna be too much."
Yeah.
So, some people, it's just we obviously, it's a prep is hard for everybody. Some people we have to push more than others, mainly when it's an
Mhm.
actual competitor. And really, it's about being empathetic and understanding, okay, what's pushing, but what's too much. And that's kind of where the communication aspect, I feel like a lot of the times comes in.
100%.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Georgia also was at a posing seminar of mine too. So I'm full send supportive of Georgia coming into the space and like, yeah, anyone that's in my posing seminars, like the other coaches, they could get a client from that event. They could bring clients to that event. It's literally just all about building that community in the space.
No, I love
Um,
it. No, I
yeah,
want to do a coding seminar at some point. Tyson's Playground wants to do one,
Oh, fun.
do it
um,
if yeah.
winter when the shows are done. I was like, I'll think about that once we get through these shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
That's
First.
the time when the girls need it though. They're like idle and they need to practice.
Yeah. There's
exactly.
a big one down in Florida, in Orlando, I think in January.
January,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
the
going to that.
workshop.
Y'all can stay with me. But yeah, I think that I remember, I mean, we've all been to the shop at the Victory and Posing.
Mhm.
Um, that was like where I started way back
Yeah.
in the day. Delusional. So having those spaces of just like free information to get your feet wet, to see if like before you spend a gazillion dollars on a prep, if this is something that like interests you, or you
Yeah.
feel the feel of posing and stuff like that. Those, I always encourage people when they ask me, take advantage of all of those opportunities that you possibly can, because you will get the most out of them. And you will also make those connections too. Like, I think,
Mhm.
correct me if I'm wrong, that's how I met all of you for the most
Yeah,
part.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, bro, my memory goes back to like years ago. Not really, but
So I
they
That's how I met, like, I mean, when I was living in Virginia, that's how I met all the bodybuilders that I was close to at the time, that I stayed close with. So I think for the new competitor, it's very important to just get out, get your feet wet, even if you are not 100% confident in what your physique looks like and what you're doing yet, because this is a very strange and wonderful world. It's going to take a while to learn the ropes. Do what you
Mhm.
can now and just learn as much as possible.
Yeah.
That was a tangent.
I love it.
Well, Georgia, what's going on with you? What are some changes, some life updates with you?
Life updates. Let me see. Everything I do is for the love of my clients right now. But I know this weekend, as I was telling them before, me and Parsa's anniversary, super exciting. I think that's always super fun. 6 years. And then Besides that, I have my first like actual like retreat for my company, which is super fun. And that's one of the main things that I was super excited about with having my own actual business was like, I'm
Mhm.
an event planner. Like in another life, I'm like, I don't know, a wedding
Mhm.
planner. I don't know. I just
Yes.
love events, like market, like that's just something I love. So
Mhm.
it's very mini. I'm doing like a little mini one, but
Love.
at first I was like, oh, I should do one once it's like been a year. So that way I can like have a moment to breathe. But then I was like, okay, no, I just want to see people, give people an excuse to come
Yeah.
together to connect. And because of so much of what I do is like shows and things like that, I think it doesn't allow like opportunity for like lifestyle people and things to come and
Yeah.
connect. So, and it's like, yeah, they'll come and watch a show, but they don't know, like, you know what I mean? And a show you're just cheering on, you're watching, you're supporting, yes, but you're not able to like all connect on a show day
Mhm.
for the people that aren't competing. So I was like, I don't care, I'm gonna do one. So we're doing just like a Busch Gardens, like all day trip in October.
Ooh,
That's Olympia weekend. That's where we're going. So the day before we're going to Colonial Iron, which Emily, you've been there before, right?
I have not.
So we're gonna go over there, have a workout, have a dinner. And I was actually, it was kind of absurd just the amount of people. I don't know. That was just like another humbling thing. Was like, wow, so many clients want to like fly out here and see me. Like, what the heck? Like,
I
what?
love.
yeah.
So yeah, it's like over 20 like clients, and they're bringing boyfriends and like or like a sibling or something like that. So I was like,
Mhm.
it's gonna be a lot of us taking over the theme park in our forged way. So there's that. But besides that, October's busy, just like life. My sister's getting married. I have three sisters, and one of them is
Oh
getting
my
married, the first one. So we're all kind of excited about that. So small like life things like that are happening like this month. But besides that, I've just been doing my day to day, trying to make myself stay at home because I'm an avid runawayer and traveler. So
god.
like actually enjoy my routine and enjoy my space.
Mhm.
To think I'm a person that like gets the itch to like not be at home very often. So I'm trying to like be comfortable with like my space and enjoying being like present,
Yeah.
and not feel like I have to be on the go to be like enjoying life. You know, so
Mhm.
good to be idle, a little bit. I'm trying to not, like, travel a bunch. You know, I'm trying purposely to, like, stay here, besides a couple shows, of course, because that's, like, different, but,
Mhm.
yeah, it'll get it'll be a fun rest of the year, though. I'm excited. I have a lot of, like, local drive-to shows, so I feel like I get that itch from, like, the drivable travels.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, those are super easy to go to. Are you going to any the rest of this year?
Yeah, I'll go to a lot of you know how it is. I have, like, some that are, like, a little far where I'm like, might pop up to it depending on, like, if some other things, like,
Mhm.
don't take forever, right? But, I have a girl that's competing, like, North Carolina, which I would possibly go to, but, the main ones that'll be in person is pretty much the Ben Wider. A couple people have to qualify, like, one person's qualifying in New York, one person's trying to qualify in Maine, one person's trying to qualify in Kentucky, that other one. So, I don't know if I can really go to the qualifier shows, but, like, everyone's coming to the Ben Wider. So, really excited about that. This will be my second, like, Forge group show, so I'm really, really excited to have, like, a bunch of
Mm,
people. We all have our show day robes, we all get ready together. So, yeah, I'm really excited for that. It'll be amazing to have, like, a group show.
I love that. This is
Uh,
extremely wholesome stuff.
yeah, it's all wholesome things for sure. I'm just excited. I don't know. It's one of those things that like the year has been so good to me that it's like I'm trying to not think too much about like too far in the future because I'm like, wow, there's so much exciting things happening this week. But there is a lot of exciting like things happening the rest of the year. So I'm excited. If I get too excited about the things that are in like December, I'm just like gonna pass by the things now too fast. So I'm trying to be like, oh my God, anniversary's tomorrow. What?
Yeah.
But my clients have been killing it. That's always super fun. But yeah, I'm excited. And
Yeah.
my first girl doing a pro qualifier internationally. So that's going to be super
Oh,
fun
cool.
in Spain, like the Euro Naturals. So I'm
Mm.
really, really hype about that.
How do you coach someone in Spain? How's,
Wake
like, the
up
time?
every hour in the middle of the night with love, but I do. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say,
So
I feel like you're not.
sleep. I got like 3 hours of sleep. No, because she did a qualifying show the other week and it was slept. Well, 10:30 to 11:30, then the fire alarm went off, of course, why wouldn't it? And then I slept from 10:30 to 1:30 for her first check-in, and then I was pretty much up. But it's fun, I like it. There's something about it there's something about a challenge of, like, something new, you know? So I really did love it. If I could have been there, I would've. And same with this one, it's the day after my sister's wedding, or I probably would have gone in person, but I am super excited for her. It's
Yeah.
gonna be good. We'll be on FaceTime the whole day. It'll be beautiful and amazing. She'll have a good day.
That's what I do wanna talk about is coaching in person versus coaching online, because I think a lot of girls, and I don't know if you may have experienced this before, but, like, if they're not there, there may be other coaches that could poach them and be like, "Oh, hey," like, "Oh, this or oh, that." I mean, obviously, your girls are, like, your girls, right? Like,
Loyal over here.
oh, yeah, they're, like, forward strong.
Yeah.
Like, get
Yeah.
that.
I think that this is my only 2 cents about it is if you meet someone holding your hand in person, is a sport made for you. You know, it's different for lifestyle coaching because some people do actually need an in-person trainer to train hard, but thinking
Mhm.
competition, the best coaches aren't going to be your local coaches. They aren't. The most knowledgeable people in the space are not local.
Snaps.
And the whole sport is evolving your own mental fortitude to be able to do that discipline, do that consistency on your own. The coach is not doing it for you. They shouldn't be doing it for you. They should support you in the sense of like growing your mental enough and your discipline and consistency to be able to handle it on your own. Now, it's different to take 3 to 5 days to text them back. That's insane. Like like an average time, if you ask my girls, is like 20 minutes. Like I am absurd on times, but it takes me 2 seconds and I'm on my phone anyways, right? But I say that like if your communication is effective and fast, I think online is awesome. More knowledge for from the coaches aspect. I'm from in-person coaches. I would say I'm more responsive, like communication wise online than maybe your coach down the street that wants to text you. I'm pretty fast in communication. So but that's my 2 cents. I mean, if they need an in-person like coach, that is on them. Same was like Jaden was saying earlier. Some people just need a different coaching style and seeing their coach in person does it for them. But I do a lot of FaceTimes and videos and like, posing and things like that. And we talk a lot. I send a lot of voice messages. So I think they get my vibe without me having to like necessarily be there in person. But
Yeah.
it's a
And I
good
think you
place.
bring up a good point, like, I mean yes, it would be nice to have your coach there, but, like, I didn't have my coach last year, who was a high level coach, not in this country, like, he's not gonna come to, like, all of the little local shows, right? Like, you gotta have to think about it logistically too, like, if you think about Georgia and Georgia's life, Georgia has a life, Georgia has family, family has life, and life things happen, like, right? Like, we have to attend those life things, and we can't just be always, like,
Yeah.
going to these shows. I just wanna kinda, like, put that, like, education out there for these girls, and it's not like we're not available, but we can't be there, like, sorry, there's not multiple clones of Georgia, we cannot clone her and put her in all the places we wish.
Maybe. I think also I leave the opportunity for me to be there. Like, so my
Mhm,
thing is if it's drivable, I'm there. So that's Pennsylvania, pretty much New Jersey if it's close, Maryland, Virginia. So if
Yeah.
they come to any of those shows, I'm there. Like, so when we are planning the season, I'll say, "Hey, if you fly out to this show, I can be there. Sounds good." But paying $500 for like think about it. I would be paying $500 for a flight and then I'd be paying $250 a night to be there. It's a big expense. I would be paying like $1,500 to be there in person. And
mhm,
a lot of the times there'll be a show that's happening locally that I have a client in at the same time, right? So it's either most of the time, number one, they can come to me. Number two, I do give them the opportunity to fly me out to it if they would like me to. Or there's a couple group shows that I do a year that are in other places that they can aim for sure.
mhm. Yeah,
But a lot of my clients that want me to be there, they honestly just come kind of nearby, like Virginia and Maryland. Like my area is so bodybuilder. I mean, Emily, y'all
yeah,
know there's so many shows to choose from. So yeah, that's the only thing. And I mean, if it's like, let's say if it's manageable and I have a free weekend, I really, really want to be there, like we can talk about it, right? And game plan it. But I mean, I think that we're great enough coaches and communicators that we don't have to be there necessarily in person for it to be an amazing day for sure.
Yeah.
We're just on FaceTime doing makeup together, you know? But, like, yeah, that's the thing, and that's what my positive is. Either you can fly here and I help do your hair, help do your makeup, you save all those costs there. Or I mean, you could hire a hair and makeup artist at a show that's local to you, you know? So I
mhm.
try because they're traveling to me to make it like a little bit cheaper most of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
No,
that
I
is a good point too, like, there is a cost to if you do fly a coach out or have a coach fly to you, but like Georgia says, right, we're all about trying to save you cost and money.
Yeah, I always think about that because a lot of my clients, I mean, they're younger, right? Because that's when I
Yep,
started bodybuilding too. So a lot of my clients are younger and just getting into like the career and everything like that. So I always have that in mind in
mhm,
the back of my mind is like not making it like absurdly expensive.
yeah, budget.
I've even had like I've shipped clients my past suits. Like I'll do, I do what I can to be able to make things like manageable for sure.
Mhm,
Because I've had clients come to me that like they were with another coach prior, didn't work out, and their coach wanted them to do figure, and they were not a figure. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't want to do figure. They didn't want to look like figure. They didn't have the muscle tissue density to be figure, but they told them to buy a figure suit, So then they come
How
to
does that
me
even
and so
happen?
don't even. And it's like, don't, I was like, I got a bikini suit. It's like, do you want to wear blue? Because that's all I got. That's all I got.
Mhm.
No, it just things happen. I try to be there at the end of the day as much as I can. I can't be there for everything and anything, but I will say I will literally, I give the shirt off my back for my girls for sure. But of course it's I see them as human and it's important, like you're saying, for them to see me as like a normal human too. Like things happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I love it.
Yeah. I will say, like, I was very lucky that at my first show, I did have my past coach there
Mhm.
who made an effort to come. And like that does make it a difference when you have that support right there in front of you. So like, well, it's not always doable. It is a really special experience. So
Yeah.
there's that. And I'm lucky, very lucky again, because Dana
Yeah.
and I are getting an Airbnb and we're setting up shop.
Yay. Yeah.
So it's a very different experience too for a coach too, to be able to look at you and see you in person and make those tweaks. If you're peaking a little bit differently, hey, add 150 grams more sodium because I can see you and I know exactly what that will do to you.
Yeah.
Well, there is some merit and there is some benefit to like when your girls come close to you and you're able to do that. And also, that's just, it's fun. That's the bottom line. That's why we all do this. If
So
it was
fun.
fun, we wouldn't do it.
I would
Mhm.
be at every show if I could. Like
Yeah.
literally.
I love it, and our outfits too. I was like, "Georgia, I love your outfit. It's green. It
No,
matches
I need
your."
the baseball jersey. Y'all have the whole merch. Y'all have the jerseys.
Yes,
Well,
I have, like,
cute.
different colors, so I change my outfits up based off the colors. I think I might order some more colors based off of the girls' suits, so that way I could, like, color coordinate.
I
You.
love that.
Yeah,
No, I have
yeah,
just, my
little
couple
things.
things, but yeah, I love that. That feels so legit. I walked back there and I was like, man, a lot of baseball jerseys back here today. Cause that's like a thing that coaches do. Everybody has like their baseball jerseys. I was like, I want a jersey. Like, I was like, I have free will. I can make it on Etsy. Like, I can get it myself.
I did do, I have a bomber jacket from my Team ERA from Angel competitions because it's, like, this, like, metallic-y, like,
Yeah.
reflects off pink, purple, blue, and that one was
Oh,
fire.
angel one in the closet.
Oh, no, I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah, that one was fire. I may redo that too. I love the
Yeah.
bomber jackets. Yeah. Any little thing, just make it special and yeah.
Mhm. Oh, I
It's a
love
good
that.
time. It's a special day. It's like you never forget your first show or your first experience there. So
Mhm.
why not do it all? Why not?
Yep. Yeah, like,
Mhm.
I know, Georgia, you get flowers for your girls, I do the same,
It's
or,
so
like, little baskets or little goodie bags or something for them, like cards, writing little notes. Just those simple things, really do kind of go a long way and make them realize, like, "Dang, I did this." Like we were saying before, like, it's sometimes just a bucket list thing that girls are just wanting to achieve, and just making that moment very special from beginning to end is why
Yeah.
we love what we do.
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I do have a question, and this is kind of switching gears. I would love to talk about like your journey as an athlete and kind of where you're sitting now with bodybuilding, because while you are a coach and while you're incredibly good at that, you are a competitor and you've been a competitor for a long time. So like, what's going on in that world?
Oh my
And
gosh,
those
like
glutes be
bodybuilding,
gluten.
I was gonna
what?
say,
Oh,
Yeah.
it's actually funny because I kinda laugh about it because even in the gym, like, if y'all see me, like, I'm just in sweats now. I'm like, I don't know no, I'm so bodybuilder. It's just kind of funny because I remember, like, I just in sweats, I go in and I go out, and it's like, it's made me actually love bodybuilding so much as I've stopped overcomplicating it. Because it's really I think when I put such a pressure cooker around, like, how each workout and each, like, phase of my bodybuilding journey, how serious it's supposed to be. Of course, I take it seriously, but it made it overwhelming. And I think I'm in a phase right now where it's like, I just train hard, eat the food I'm told, and that's it. And it is that simple. Like,
yeah,
it's like, whoa, it is
Yeah.
that. I'm like, what? So really love training. Obviously, I started with Jamie in March, which she's knows bikini in and out, and I would trust her with my life. I think I needed an adjustment of somebody. I love a women coach. I love somebody, she's obviously older. How she responds is always thought out. It's mature. It's not quick responses. Like, I always feel like she's just so mature in her responses. I love
yeah,
it. I've learned a lot about my communication style as well from her and how she responds, right? She's just positive and just like very thoughtful. So I love it. because I think mainly me in the off season. In the past, I felt like I was always expected, like from a harsh coach, I was expected perfection. You know what I mean? And now being with Jamie, it's like I almost am wanting to achieve that more because I've been given the free will to like move towards that versus like I'm not met with like harshness when I can't like meet those expectations. Right. So,
Mhm.
anyways, it's been super fun. I've been growing for quite a bit of time since starting with her basically in March. I've pretty much been recomping. I was sitting about 30 pounds above stage when I started with her, and now I'm sitting about 10. So we've been kind of cutting down to then. I do think I'll step on. She estimates I'll be leaner next year, so this would probably be 15 above stage for what next time would be. I feel like it'll be a next year thing. I'm not super set on like a timeline. I'll do whatever I'm told for sure. I do think it's not going to be super long from now. In my head, I feel like I need so much time, but I'm never going to feel ready, and that's why I have a coach. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna kinda do what I say. I think it'll be at some point next year. What time in the circuit, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be mad if it's end of next year, early next year. I really wouldn't be mad about it. And I think given that I'm sitting like 10 to 15 pounds above stage weight, I think it'll make this prep so much more manageable. I've never done a prep and not had to lose 30 pounds ever. And I'm really excited about it. It feels so much less daunting. Um, I feel like it's crazy because it's like at any point I could hop into a prep and I think it wouldn't be something that would make my routine too different, which I'm like excited about.
Mhm.
So yeah, at some point next year we'll step on stage. Obviously still bikini. I get that question all the time. Obviously still bikini.
Oh my
I
gosh.
just loving it, I'm enjoying it for sure. So obviously I'll have to do a regional show. So I'll probably just go to a show that she's doing a group show at, or she'll like Jamie will be at so she can be there in person. But I'm excited. I'm excited for
I
what
know
next.
some of her girls, her other coaches were at the DC Pro.
Yeah, they do have a lot of people that go to the DC Pro Am. She was there in person.
Yeah, yeah, pretty sure.
So TBD. I've always liked that.
Say your glutes have grown a friggin' ton since March, dude. Like you're
Mhm.
looking
These are
awesome.
my tie-ins though. It's like
Yeah.
I will never know until I get conditioned though. You know what I mean? I can't say what they're gonna
Yep.
look like, but they're just that's my one thing is like I need tie-in depth. And it's like you don't know what you look like till you lean out, you know? So like
Yeah.
trust
You're
us.
still just, like, bending over, like, as far as you can to, like,
I'm
just
leaning
get it
over.
in the gym, you know?
Every every time I hit legs, I'm posting me bent over, literally. I'm like, "Is it bigger, guys? Please tell me yes."
Yeah. No, I like that was my greatest fear walking into prep this time. I was like, so what happens if I don't have glutes? Like, what do we do then? We started getting leaner, and I was like, okay, we need not panic as much anymore.
No, we actually do have glutes.
Like, so we did
Report.
past 2 years, crazy. But it's one of those things where, again, the veil you have in off season where you're like, well, I know that there's something underneath this, but I don't know what it is. And
Mhm.
then being able to actually go through with that transformation and see, steady week by week lines and all that kind of stuff is just the most addicting, fun experience ever.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my check-ins today too. I know Jane, you had your check-ins.
Mine are
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I have
Okay,
mine
tomorrow.
today.
Yeah, I had mine today and I was like, "Dang, okay." Like the more muscle pushing up against the skin, like that's just the goal in off season. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like you, Georgia, 15 pounds up from stage weight or something, just, just healthy, like just chilling, just, back to finally training hard. It shows when you do all of that in your photos and it's just, it just feels so much better than being heavier. Like, I don't know about you, but
It definitely does. I feel like a lot more confident for sure because I've never held this lean
mhm,
just for fun. And so even my face, I'm like, I look like I'm on prep, like low key, but it's really just I've just always,
Yeah.
all food in the off season. So I just feel a lot more confident just from like I'm more agile and I can, my cardiovascular is better and just all the things. So
Yeah.
I am really loving this phase, and loving not that I'm not taking it as like intense, the bulk.
And I imagine too that your body's really happy about having the break, have normalcy after because you did a lot of shows like every single year. Like that's a lot on you. So having this time to just like kind of decompress and let your body regulate has got to be like not only physically but mentally really beneficial in some way.
Yeah,
mhm,
it is really nice, and I think that I'm a person of direction. Like, I will never be able to relax if I don't have, like, a purpose.
Yeah.
So I think every other time that I've had, like, a break, I felt like I was idle, you know, because I didn't have anything else that I could, like, put my attention towards and really, like,
Mhm.
focus on. So now that I'm, like, building a brand, I feel like I can actually breathe, which is crazy because 'cause I'm working a lot more, but it's like, I'm like, "Wow."
Yeah.
Like, I can put my passion towards something and not have to think about my physique. It's been very, very nice. So, I feel like for once, I'm, like, just actually, like, breathing.
Yeah.
But because I took 2023 off. However, I was trying to do a prep and just had health problems that prep. So it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't really take that year off. I got 12 weeks out and I was like, my body's not responding. Like, it's not worth it because of how hard I would have to push. So then it's like you reverse. And then I basically went back into a prep to compete for 2024.
Mm.
So this is the first time that I'm like, man, like, I've actually enjoyed like being able to just like be off season. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Let's talk about competing a little bit. Like, let's go back into competition Georgia days. Let's talk about last show. Um, did we do the same last show? Was that your last show, or did you do another show after that? The DC Pro 2024
Mhm. That was my last show.
last show? All right, let's talk about it. How do we feel?
Yeah. I feel like I learned the most from my last season. Number 1, I was older. I had a better head on my shoulders for sure throughout the entire prep. And obviously, competition has increased in general in the sport. Like, it's definitely a lot more competitive. So, I competed in 2022. I did really well in the national circuit, I would say. I did okay. And then I had to be off season in 2023. In 2024, I chose my show being like, I'm either going to be humbled or I'm going to do well. And then that tells me I'll do well on like a national circuit.
Mhm.
So I kind of went into it being like, well, if I'm humbled, then I'm done, which is what happened. Right. I mean, what did I get? Like third or fourth in my class. I had a quite large show. And I think that it told me where I needed to grow, and I think that's such a big positive. I think that
Mhm.
people run away from large shows, they run away from the competition, but, like, as you're getting farther into the sport, the goal is truly to see your best against other people's best.
Right.
So if you keep going to these small shows and just to, like, do extremely well, or there'll be one other really good competitor, it's hard to really know where you stack up. So I'm lucky to have such a big show so close to home. So it's like, of course, and the top 2 people that won my class went pro that year. So that tells me, I mean,
Yeah,
what I looked like against people that were going pro. And I had good feedback. My feedback was to grow though, which told me I was done. So, and that's what I was kind of thinking about. I was like, either they told me to grow, then it's like, okay, there's no reason to push it anymore. Right. And it wasn't the most conditioned I've ever come in. So, it was something that like my body was just super exhausted. And if they told me to come in, a little leaner and I looked great, I would have obviously continued my season. But when your feedback is to grow, I love that feedback. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
That sounds good. But I remember calling up my coach after the show and I was like, okay, we're done. Cause I had already paid for stuff for, was it nationals? No, junior nationals. I'd already paid for like my Gilco packages and stuff like that. And I could have gone to another
Mhm.
show and still try to qualify. Right.
Mhm.
But I remember calling my coach after and I was like, okay, I'm done. I was like, okay, sounds good. I was like, my season's done. And he's like, okay. He was like, if you're upset, like, don't make any rash decisions. And I'm like, no, like, I was like, obviously I'm upset, but I'm not one of those people that it's like, I lost, I'm done. It's more like if I have things to do and work to do, I'd rather do it now than put off the work that needs to happen.
yeah,
And I felt like mentally after like a loss, I'm like, I knew myself well enough that I was like, if I start the reverse from here, I'm upset about it, but like I knew and it is what it is. But I think if I would have tried to push harder for 4, 5, 6 weeks later to lose even worse at a bigger show, I think I would have been so much more like mentally like challenged in the reverse.
yeah,
For this reverse, I think I was proud of myself for listening when it was time to like pull back and not like keep pushing the season. But also it's like I'm not for running the circuit when you have muscle to put on because I can't put on muscle in prep. It's time to put on some muscle. So like I've grown for sure. And I don't think I would have if I was prepping myself, and I think about this all the time. What I would have done if I was prepping myself, like would I have done the same thing?
mhm,
I think that I would have done a lot of the similar decisions. I think that I would have, if I think I would have had a better result if I didn't have 30 pounds to lose, and that's kind of on me. You know what I mean? I feel like I had to lose so much weight, so I risked losing muscle tissue. And I
Mhm.
think that's what I learned from last prep. I was like, I need to take my off season seriously to make my next season that much more manageable, right?
mhm.
The back and forth of like gaining weight just to have to lose it. and lose the muscle that you gained. I was like, I can't be doing that anymore.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. It was definitely like a quick ending in my mind. But I learned so much. Like I learned so much mentally on just like growing in the sport, I would say in that prep. Seeing like the competitions, how much more I needed to grow. Sometimes you like need to be humbled to be like, okay, this is what people are looking like that are bringing something good, in the sense of like chasing high level national, pro qualifier level physiques, and it was nice to kind of like stand by side by those kind of people.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, gives you some fuel for the fire, you know?
Yeah. I definitely was just also like, okay, I could spend the rest of the summer like cutting for a national show where I don't think I was gonna place insanely amazing. Or I could go off season and like be present, and be able to like be in the sunshine a little bit before I'd have to like get to the winter again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, it was hard, like for sure. Like I look back and like that was a hard prep. I don't think I've had to give protocols hard as mine was. But I like that because then I know how hard I'm willing to push and I would never push somebody that hard. You know what I mean? So yeah, I look back and I'm like, oh, that was a lot. You know how I mean, Jade, I'm sure y'all know like the intensities that we go to at some of these preps. It's like sometimes you can't be sharing that stuff because it's like the amount of cardio. Maybe we should, but the amount of cardio, how little we're eating, how much we're having to do, it's a lot. And sometimes we just gotta keep that. Keep us like we
Yeah,
did that,
Yeah.
but that stays in here.
yeah.
But
No,
I
I
look.
think it's important for sure. Cause like, I was listening to podcast, I think it's Paul Rabella's The Pro Physique Code, and, like, he's a pretty well-known bodybuilding coach, and he said, "Yes, I have had girls
I
that
saw.
are under 800 calories or under 1,000 calories. They're doing twice a day cardio that's, over an hour. Girls, like, it's not unheard of, but hopefully, you're not doing it forever. It should be for, like, a time period, maybe,
Yeah,
but, I mean, those are the harsh realities of prep, but you get better at it,
Yeah.
right? Like, Georgia, your next prep is gonna be so much better because you're staying so close. Like, your body fat percentage is so much better now that when you're ready for the next prep, it won't be such a grind. Like, you will get more food and you should have less cardio. Like, that's just,
Mm.
like, how it goes.
And
But you
it's
do
also
have to, like, dig in the trenches sometimes a little bit that first prep, maybe even that second prep, but, like, it won't be like that forever. Like, hopefully, your coach and you learn our lessons and know how to be better.
yeah, absolutely.
honestly too, as you put on more muscle, it does get easier.
I was
Exactly.
gonna say it's just muscle tissue.
I
Muscle
can
too.
I
Muscle, like, maturity
Yeah. To me,
too.
I can speak to my own experience. Like my first prep, I was very open about the fact that, my coach had me doing some very questionable things. And for extended periods of time, I was on 2 hours of cardio it was what, 3 months of no carb, no fat. And he was pushing me on a crazy amount of T3. So that kind of stuff, I think there's a line between like keeping it in here, but also like, hey, that kind of shit is
Hey,
not
girl? Yeah, hey, girl, no.
like, there's a line. So I think it is like pushing when you need to push and recognizing that like this is a gritty sport. You gotta dig. And if you aren't willing to do that, you are not gonna end up going far whatsoever. But also like, hey,
Mhm.
this is a ludicrous protocol and you should tell somebody about this. Like, I
Yeah,
wish that I knew that my first time around. So going back
Mhm.
full circle here, having coaches that understand that and understand like again in your case, you know what you had to do. Like you wouldn't put somebody else through that. So being a little bit more cognizant when you program
Mhm.
things for individuals and knowing taking the full person into account, including your overall health.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's the thing is that the more knowledgeable coach that you have, the less so they're going like you're obviously not going to you're gonna stall, you're gonna stop seeing progress doing zero carb for that long.
Yep.
Like there's a reason we do cardio deloads, there's a reason we do refeeds, there's a
Yeah,
reason that we have like thyroid like regulation high days. Like there's a reason that we do this.
Yep.
yeah.
And if there is a difference between digging to where you're destroying your body and digging to lose body fat for
Yes.
sure.
Mhm.
And, I was somewhere between for sure. And I think that it helps me learn. It's like, okay. And I have clients that come to me that from other coaches and they're just like, they're like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm supposed to be having this much on like a refeed or a high day or things like that. And then it's like, their body's like, thank God we've had,
Yes.
no cardio. We had extra food. We had all this extra fat in their body, like actually loses weight.
Mhm.
Yeah. everybody's body's so different, but if your body will adjust, like if you're not feeding it, if you're doing so much cardio, you're just doing all this and pressure, 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 there's nowhere else for it to go. Like literally, like, and I think that's one thing I've learned a lot was like management in the sense of like allowing rest and balancing pushing. I think that's like my superpower in the sense of like communication with clients because that is different per person. Some
Right.
people can do 6 days in a row of that low carb and pushing, hour and a half of cardio in their bodies. Like, sounds good. I'm moving. And for some people, doing that much for that many days in a row, their body's going to fight against it. It's not going to work that way. So that's where it comes to like individuality,
Yeah.
and it not being a program that everybody goes in zero carb and everybody has 2 hours of cardio because that's not how it should be.
Right.
No.
There's a lot more nuance, especially for females too. Like our inflammation response is so different, and like that can impede fat loss on a level that I didn't really quite understand until this past year, having really learned about it from Dane. Like
Insane.
the communication and understanding that each body is extremely different, being able to troubleshoot that,
Mhm.
but also having the mental fortitude to like really go for it and really give your all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I kind of, it's kind of interesting because I hear the opposite from most of my clients, but maybe I just get some like badass girls. Uh, Everybody always is like they're getting near the end and they're like, they actually tell me they think it's going to be harder, which
Mhm.
I think people have seen some crazy protocols posted, where they're thinking they're going to be on 2 hours of cardio and zero carb for 6 weeks. And
Yep.
that's not the normal. Obviously, there is people that have to push hard, right? But that should be
Exactly.
that should not be the normal. That should be the random case, right?
Mhm.
And at that point, we kind of know if your body, like from cuts in the off season, if you're a person that wants to dig, right? We've known this, right? It's not like one day randomly in prep you're that person, right? We've known this, and I have people a lot. They're like they get stressed because they're like, "What do you mean we're taking time off
Yeah.
of cardio? Or we're having a repeat or having a break?" And all I can say is like, "Have you seen?" I'm like, I promise, I know what I'm talking about, and we're gonna get
Yeah.
to the end, and you're gonna look. And that's where it comes in, where it's just like trust of your coach
Yeah.
at that point, because I think that as a client, we just want to push, 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 and we don't want to have to pull back as well. So having a coach that is willing to like balance our like crazy head of like, you don't have like you're 8 weeks out, you do not need to lose 5 pounds this week. Like we need to take a break so you can make more progress. That's where we come in. Cause I think a lot of people are thinking that it's just like, I've just heard it a lot lately that actually from like most of my prep clients that they're saying that it's just like they think that they should be losing an insane amount of weight every single week and then shredding till prep. And I'm like, when you're ready, you're ready. If you're ready 3 weeks out, we're not trying to lose 5 more pounds. Like, we're good. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
we're
awesome.
maintaining this look. We're good. Yeah.
I feel like that must be like trending right now because I've just hear it from like every client. They're like, what do you mean? Like, we don't just cut down till show. I'm like, the goal is not to be your lightest, it's to bring your best.
Yes, I was literally just about to say that. They
Yes.
do not care what your weight is on stage, but if you look
Nope.
No.
like shit, they're gonna care about that. And
Yes.
it's more or less about like the ebb and flow and pacing your body. But also, I think as women too, we all want to do the most all the time. I've
Yeah.
noticed that more so in women.
Mhm.
Okay, if you give me one green bean a day and tell me to get on the Stairmaster for 3 hours, oh my God, I'll do it. But like, we don't need to do that. So I think that like, that's kind of what you were talking about there is in like some of your clients were saying, oh yeah, I thought this was going to be a lot harder because we have this tendency to just kind of like run ourselves into the ground and then be like, okay, what do we do now? But really it doesn't need to be like
Yes,
that.
absolutely. There's
Yes.
definitely a lot of nuance for sure. I think that people realize, but and on the other case is actually funny. I think a lot of people think that their body is different in the sense of like I get a lot of people that they're like, my body's not gonna reverse.
Well,
I can't add food because my body
I
is
know my body.
not the majority. And I'm like, and that's what it comes down to it. I'm like, no, this is just science. I was like, this is not guesswork. This is not like let's add food and hope you don't gain weight. I think that's where I get a lot from women as well is just
yeah,
like your body is not like going to be fighting against us like reversing, right? And I think that's what people like. They're like, my body is not going to do that. I'm like, it will.
yeah,
It's data, it's science. That's all we're doing is like the inputting data, and it's like, what is your body outputting to
yeah.
be able to keep it progressing?
Thermodynamics, baby. Like that's literally what food is.
Yeah, I still don't think of it that way though. Like when they're cutting down body fat, they're like, I need to eat less, like da da da. Da," and I'm like. Eh, there's so many other things that come into play in the sense of inputs that are going to make you see the progress and the shape that we want to see.
Mhm.
And I think a lot in the reverse as well. I think I see that a lot is like thinking that their body is like not the majority,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And there, I will say caveat to like, are we always cutting and prep is like, well, how much body fat do we have to lose? Are we still in a spot where we need to lose body fat? Is our body even responding? Has there been a point where you're like, hey, I have to stop your prep? Because I know that you stopped yours, Georgia.
Oh, yeah, I've had to pull people's prep, and that's the thing is all of the negatives and my world was crumbling seasons. I have been able to relate so much to other people. And even this season, I've had to pull somebody out of their prep. And I just come to them in a place like I had to do this same exact thing. And I was hurt because I had been so excited. I felt like this was going to be my comeback season. This was going to be it. But it's like there is other things in our life that is really more important. Your health is more important. Focusing on your schedule, your actual work schedule. Like, in her circumstance, there's a lot of other stresses in her life that was more important than bodybuilding prep. And
Yeah.
her body was telling her that, right? And it allows me to come, all these negatives that I've had in all these other seasons has allowed me to come to people with grace and understanding and empathy for sure of like, that's hard. Pulling out of a bodybuilding prep, but mainly when you've been perfect. It has been 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, and you have checked every single box, everything that's been asked of you, and your body's not letting that happen. And that's why I come to them earlier than later. I'm like, it's 12 weeks out. There's no reason to be pulling anymore. There's no reason for us to push all the way to zero carb before me telling you that we're not going to be able to do it. Because I know far earlier than us getting 2 weeks out, we're not ready. If your coach is waiting until you're 2 weeks out and your body is not ready all of a sudden, no. We know by 12 weeks out if you're not going to be ready.
Yeah.
So I tell 10 to 12 weeks out, I'm like, either number one, we need to look at other shows. I'll tell them that. Or I'll say, hey, we're having to push more than we should. Let's get labs, right? And then we'll look at labs, and then usually lab work will tell me whether or not we should be pulling it. And then at that point, it's data. It's like there is something that's off that was not off before prep. There's something that we need to fix, right? But it definitely helps me to come from a place of compassion for sure, because I've had to pull multiple people's preps, and it literally is gut wrenching because it's like, of course, my coach like had called me at the time, and he, and I was like, whatever you think is the best decision, but that doesn't mean it's not hard,
Yeah.
so much,
Yeah. I mean, shit, it's hard. It's hard to hire a coach. It's hard to trust someone with your health. It's hard to do a prep. Like, all this shit is hard. Like, I have one client in prep, and she'll know who she is when she hears this, but she's like, it's hard. It's really hard today. I'm like, it's hard. Like, let me tell you, girl, like, it is hard. And you're not just going to have one day of hard. Like, it should be hard. Like, you should be tired. You should feel irritable. Like, I know it sucks to say it. Like, but that's what it's gonna feel like. All right, Georgia. What about advice for aspiring competitors, and girls getting into the space, maybe the coaching space as well? So maybe two-part
Absolutely.
question.
Yeah, aspiring competitors, I think number one, it's going to be about knowing what you need to know yourself. I feel like before you ever get into a contest prep, a lot of people don't know, number one, what they need out of a coach. They don't know the style they need to be supported by. And I think that's where knowing yourself enough to, number one, know how the people around you can support you, knowing how other people can be like actually around you and like bringing you up, I think is super important. Knowing what you need to do to be able to push yourself. What do you need to do when you're feeling stressed? What do you need to do when you're feeling anxious? I think a lot of things and feelings do come up in a contest prep that it's like you've never had to deal with them on such low energy and such low food and such, and it's cool to be able to like be focusing on like soul searching, really. So I always tell people like taking like cutting phases seriously, taking these like deficit phases super seriously before contest prep, it makes you have to combat these feelings before you ever kind of get into a contest prep. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I
No.
would say also like when it comes to like prep itself, do a reverse prior to ever doing a contest prep. I always recommend mainly for a first show, like even if we do a mini cut and like reverse, I feel like that really does set us up mentally to be able to like better handle how we're going to take contest prep and a contest reverse. I
Yeah.
feel like people don't talk about that a lot. Like having to do all the phases, like having to do a growing phase, having to do a little cutting phase, having to do a reverse phase, having to do a maintenance phase, having to see your body at different body fats really makes the reverse in the off season, post to show easier. I feel like we start a prep or we start with a coach and we've only ever seen ourselves get leaner. And then we don't know how we need to be supported after that.
Yeah.
So do all the phases, if you can, like doing the cutting phase and the reverse phases, and just allowing yourself to kind of like feel all those feelings and like learn about yourself to be able to like combat them. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
Perfect.
your other
And
part?
then advice for coaches in the space?
Absolutely. I really, if like they're trying to get into coaching or they're already a coach,
Whatever.
doesn't matter. I would say in general, just knowing education never stops. I
Mhm.
think that success stops and transformation stop when you think you've known it all. Preach this, but that's in every part of everything that we do in our life is not thinking that we've like stopped learning. I think people that are most successful in the sport in the sense of coaches are people that are like forever trying new things, trying to see how that person's body will better respond, how that person's mind will better be able to like overcome, right?
Mhm.
So just reaching out to other people, hiring mentors, taking the classes, getting the certifications, investing the money in your education is something you'll never regret. And you always can go back and relearn from it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, coaching is really all about experimenting and all about just working with people, right? And just learning and learning and learning. I think George's point was, learning more about yourself, even as a competitor, kind of going through those phases and even learning about yourself as a coach, like continuously learning. I love that theme.
Yeah, I just don't know. I think people close off their minds to, that seems so
Mhm.
cliche, but I was like, I feel like maybe that just was how I used to be. But I was like, I felt like it was this is the way you prep and that's how it is. This
Yeah,
is the way you coach and that's how it is.
yeah.
Um, and the more I've transitioned from an athlete into a coach, the more it's like, no, these high level coaches, they're learning your body as you're doing this. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing is y'all are a team to be able to bring together your best look.
Mhm.
It's not that this high level coach is going to have a PDF program. They can send it to you and you never have to talk to them because they don't know how your body's going to respond. They don't know how your body's going to respond, your stress, all of this. Them actually putting in the effort to learn your body is important. So,
It's just important as coaches and clients to like, hey, check in. Fill out the check-in, like, but not
yeah.
just be like, "Yes,
Okay.
no."
Yeah.
Not like just click the numbers. Really tell me what's going on in your mind, in your body. Like Georgia was saying in the beginning, we know our clients better than maybe their significant others because they do divulge all these things. At the end of my check-in, there's a brain dump. Tell me everything, whatever you want. Like, you wanna hop on a call? Cool, great, let's talk it out. Like, but it takes 2 also, and you have to be willing to share and share everything. If you're not sharing that your digestion is messed up, if you're not sharing that you're just stressed the F out and you're like, oh, everything's fine just because you're trying to like appease your coach or something. I've
Yeah.
definitely had that happen. Like,
Yeah.
please don't do that because then we're not going to be able to coach you the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Communication is for sure key. I think that is one thing is we want it so bad for them. Like as a coach,
Yeah.
when I tell you we want you to be successful, we want it so, so bad. So it's you have to want it as bad as we do. As in like we're asking how can we be better? And you're like, everything's good, when it's not, right? Communicating is the only way that we're going to be able to actually get like towards the steps that we want to be in. And yeah, that's actually a good point for athletes. It's like lying doesn't get you anywhere. Paying for the coach, putting the
Mhm.
money down is not making the progress.
Right.
Yep.
And I would rather them tell me they messed up one week
Yeah.
and something's not working so we can adjust to make something work. Mainly talking like off season lifestyle clients. I would rather it be complete honesty and me be like, I'm not going to judge them. I think people come to me
Yeah.
all the time thinking I'm going to be there to lash them and judge them. That's not my job.
Yeah.
But it is to hold you accountable, right? And I think I have a
Mhm.
lot of laxness because I'm very understanding. But I also don't take like BS, right? So I think that I have an in between style of it's like, okay, with communication, we're having honesty. I know when it's like stress in school and things are overwhelming, but I also know when it's like we're just not trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think communicating, just being honest allows us to be like, okay, how can we make this program more attainable for your lifestyle? Or how can we mentally become more motivated and more disciplined to be able to make these tasks achievable to get to our goals?
Yeah. Exactly. God, I could talk all day about this. I'm
So my last question for you, Georgia, is kind of what was your oh shit, like I belong moment, like with either with coaching or with competing, where you were like, I'm good at this, like this is my life path.
Yeah. To be honest with coach, like with being an athlete, I feel like I've still like never felt it being like, I'm amazing at this because I've never won. I'm not the girl who wins the overall. That's just like has not happened, you know? But there's something about like the comeback story. So I don't know. I do this sport, number one, just because I love it. And there's such like a passion in that. So I don't know if I've ever gotten to where I'm like, I'm just amazed. Like I haven't really felt that, but I think it's something crazy for sure. Of just like with coaching is I think that it's not an I made it, you know what I mean? But people apply like because they know the company, not because they know me. And I think that was always my goal was like that people wanted to be a part of the community, not that they wanted to be coached by Georgia Daniels, because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that was crazy when I started to get applications being like, oh, I've heard about Forged. I'm like,
Yeah.
years. Like that was one thing I like when I was working with a business coach when I was first like starting. I was like, I want people to know like the company name, not to be coming to me for like Georgia, you know? And I think that that's was like kind of insane.
Yeah.
It's like recently people being like, I want to be part of that community. I want to be a part of whatever Forged is. I want to be in that group chat around those girls. And I'm like, I love that. And sometimes people apply, they don't even know who I am. They don't know my name. They don't know. And I'm like, I love it. Like, I think that was such an I made it thing because I know that's crazy, but it's like I want people to know like my work more than they know like my name. So
Right.
I was like, that was so touching when people like, you know, I want to be getting progress and seeing the progression and the transformations of whatever the person that like runs this community. So that's been insane. And it's happened so fast. I feel like I think it was, you know, as I've started to like, because this company is only me, right? It's only my name. It's only my transformations, all my clients. So I think it's allowed me to fully shine and people to understand my coaching style. I think in the past, being under a coaching company, a lot of label was put on to like, oh, I must coach this way. I must act this way because of like other people. And I think it's cool in its own way to now have your own company where people only know you by the work that you do. And I think that's
Mm.
awesome. Like
That's really cool.
people only know my results and like, and I'm not like, yeah, I think that's awesome. So I've really loved it. No, I think it's really, it is really cool. And I just love to be able to create a community that people like feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I love competing. It's super, super fun. I think that though my passion for sure is in coaching.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think people see that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not like it just gets cool. You know, I like to post like the mindset and the shifts and like, you know, I think it would be cool to also post like the brand building stuff. I think people will eventually like to see that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. That's
Yeah.
awesome, bro. I love it.
Would you ever hire assistant coaches and build your own like coaching team? Or would you just
Absolutely.
stick with
Yeah.
you?
I will for sure. I think the first like phase, I just wanted it to be truly like I was saying, like I wanted people to see me. Like I wanted
Mm-hmm.
people to see the team and because some people they launch their team and it's a 5-person team right from the get go. And that's amazing and it has its own community and passion. But there's something I wanted my like the company to speak for itself, like with me. Like, you know, I think that any other coaches that come on, it'll be a positive for them because they'll be mentored by me. People now know the work that I do. But I think I've only ever been under a coaching company all my years of coaching in the sense of online. So I think I needed time of people just seeing my work and just seeing my passion, seeing my ideology, my coaching style, and
Mm-hmm.
also allowing me to learn that because it's like you pick up coaching styles and education from every single person you've been under.
Yep.
And I needed time to like I feel like for it just fully come into its own self. I needed people to kind of like me see my coaching style fully come into fruition, but also people be able to like see my work, and my love and my passion. Cause you
Mm-hmm.
know, I finally can have free will. I can make merch. I can make events. I can like make a group chat. I can get on group calls. I can do
Girl,
whatever I
I
want.
feel you. I
So
feel you 100%
yeah.
on that. Yep.
So for
Yep.
once, it's like I can do my own break off sessions, my own stuff for like
Yes.
I can do whatever I want. Like
Yeah.
that's insane. So I feel less like held back in the sense of like creative outlet of how I can
Yes.
Yeah.
forge, which I love. Yeah, great question. But
I think we're very similar in that sense where it's just like, I love creating. It's like, okay, there's a coaching call. Well, I get to control the topic and whatever it is. I don't have to like build a slide on whatever that topic is that I have no idea what, like I don't have anything to put into it, and you just can be just so much more creative. And the events thing, I'll hit you up because
yeah,
I got some good ideas coming up.
please do. No, yeah, I'll talk
Yeah.
to you later about it. But
Yeah.
it's so fun. Like, and I think that was just so cool. Is like, I think also I'm getting older. Like, y'all both see me like age, the whole internet age. I started bodybuilding at 18. So it's like, and my first ever show day is recorded and posted on YouTube. You can go and see me at like 19 years old, like stepping on stage.
Mhm.
So it's like crazy that it's like am 25, turn 26 in the spring. And it's like, yeah, they're gonna, by the time that I feel like I'm me, like, actually, like, I feel like have a company and things like that, people would have seen, a larger company. I feel like it's gonna be like 10 years of people watching me progress. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm always thankful that I did that. Like, I recorded my first ever YouTube video. Like, no, that was my first video, was like my show day. Nobody followed me. Like, I just posted it. I wanted to be able to watch back, and I'm so thankful. I've done 7 or 8 shows. Every single one's posted.
Mhm.
18 to, like, 24 when I did my last show. So that I'm very grateful for. But yeah, that was so crazy too. I think that in my brain, like, you know how they say it's like people's first impressions is what they see of you. I always had in the back of my brain that people are always going to see me as like a 19-year-old little, like, girl. And people don't see me like that. That's for sure. Like, I think people have been able to really see me grow, and there's a lot of, like, there's something cool about being able to see the passion and the work that people put into, like, evolve themselves. And I think that people can really just, like, see that. So that's been super cool. It's been a cool I've definitely grown the most since this company has, like, launched, for sure. Like, because I was not expecting it to launch this year. I mean, obviously, I always knew that I would, like, always knew that I would have my own company. I mean, God's timing had happened earlier, in the sense of, like, the brand launching this year. And, it was like, okay, we're doing it the right way. And I definitely put everything into, like, allow, all the time and all the work. So a lot of, the brand launched and was formed, the name, the logo, everything, the website was all made in like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
which was it was really, really cool. It was like a lot of long hours. I felt like I was like building. It was really cool. It was just something so powerful about to be like, I'm like building this.
Mhm.
Um,
That's awesome,
yeah,
girl.
winter's the calm. I can finally, I feel like, breathe and, like, here soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's super inspiring too, like, I mean, just for girls that want to be in the online coaching space too, like, I've come to the point too where I'm, like, mentoring other girls, and it's like, you have to just do it. You have to just dive in, like, right, with prep too, you have to just commit, say, "Hey, I'm making this name," like, the brand, post, just start doing it, and then just no turning back. Just keep grinding, keep waking up, keep showing up.
Young, like, self, I'm like, thank God for her. Because if I would have launched, I would have so much more things that were holding me back if I would have launched now. If I didn't already know what I was doing and, like, had so much more confidence about my, like, educational background. And it's like, I'm just glad that it happened the way it did. But yeah, it's been a crazy ride. I could talk about that forever in the sense of, like, the launching and things. But I think that's one thing, is, like, really giving your all into something that you're passionate about. You'll never regret, you know?
Mhm.
You'll never regret putting the work in it takes to, like, build something that is, like, truly your child. And even
Mhm,
if, like, I don't know, I have this deep feeling that it's all, like, gonna fail always. And
mhm,
even if I were to look back and be like, "Oh, okay, like, the coaching thing didn't work out," I'm like, I'm having the time of my life, I can tell you. So, I don't know, if I'm, like, in my 40s, I'm never gonna look back and be like, "Oh, man, why did I do that?" Like, I'll never think that. So,
mhm.
but yeah.
Lots of positives, all
Yes.
good things. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Georgia. Really appreciate it. Georgia, tell everyone where they can find you and then any brands you want to plug.
Absolutely. So, G Daniels Fitness on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I use Snapchat once a month, but so probably don't add me on there. And then obviously my coaching page is Forged, FORGD, because Georgia Daniels. So we have the GD at the end. And that's on Instagram. But yeah, that's it all.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you,
thanks,
girl. This
girl.
was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay.
All right.
Uh,
Love
All
to you.
right. Bye, girlies. Good night.
Good night.
This episode is brought to you by Wolfpack, gear built for life on the move. From backpacks, duffel bags, to meal management bags, Wolfpack keeps you ready for the gym, travel, and everything in between.